This video on Enotria, The Last Song, is brought to you by Enotria, The Last Song. Who'd have thought? Enotria, The Last Song is a title that I've already said 3 times. But it's also a pretty standard Soulslike with an Italian Mediterranean setting. You've got your ghoulish enemies, you've got your bosses, you've got your big boy swords, and of course, backtracking. Yet unlike most Souls-like games, you have an absolute flood of tutorial information. I am scared and confused. It doesn't go as far as some recent games such as Lies of P or even Black Myth Wukong in its semi-Souls-like structure, but it does do some things which I think are pretty cool and worth highlighting. First up, amidst all those very scary tutorial pop-ups, is the damage types and weaknesses in the game. While games like Dark Souls and Elden Ring do have damage types like Poison, Curse, all of that good stuff, Enotria The Last Song has a nice little Pokemon-style damage circle to focus on, which is always on your screen just here. Certain enemies will have or be able to take on these states, as well as inflict them on you. It might be the entire affliction of a certain kind, meaning there's downsides, or it might just be something applied to the weapon, in which case it just means it can be dealt. These can also come from the environments, so be careful about stepping in the goop. As alluded to by this persistent circle, if an enemy has a certain one of these, then they might be harder to kill, or might be weaker to you. You can equip skills to apply elements to your weapons, which means you could pick out the matching damage type needed to make that enemy weaker. Similarly, they might do something to make you weaker against them. It's chaos out here. Another great mechanic in Enotria, The Last Song, is the mask loadout, something quite central to the themes of the game. What with all those lovely masks. You have 3 different loadouts, which allows you to equip different masks, weapons, skills, and dramatically change your whole playstyle on the move. Masks offer different benefits, so you might have one that ties into being quicker, in which case you'd want to equip faster weapons and skills to complement them. You might then also have a mask that increases heavy damage, so you'd go with that big boy sword and some skills to boost that side of things. A lot of these types of games offer the ability to fully change how you play the game, but to be able to switch whenever and wherever you want is something that, while it takes some getting used to, is actually a great thing to utilize. It means instead of just having 2 weapons equipped at a time, you can actually have up to 6 weapons, and make sure they're getting the best mechanics to go along with them. The masks also tie into the actual outfits your character wears. This does mean that there's no equipable armor or stuff like that, which is a shame. No fashion souls here. But it does mean you get some cool, varying looks to go along with your playstyles. Lastly, the Ardore. The reality glyph things. There are spots in the world that allow you to use this Ardore burst to alter the world around you. This is usually within a small radius, but it means you can reach things you otherwise couldn't. Whether that be a ledge, rooftops, or the whole damn city. This sort of mechanic is such a refreshing thing to see, though not completely new, as if you played Lords of the Fallen, that game has a core mechanic of switching between the world of the living and the dead, with environmental differences between them for puzzles and traversal. Still, this version is much more focused into specific areas, and makes it a lot easier to appreciate without having to keep it in the back of your mind at all times. No bridge? Bridge. Again, it's quite a simple thing, but I can't wait to see all the ways this gets utilized later on. Enotria, The Last Song, is a good Souls-like. That's about the end of it, and that's okay. There are certainly others that go beyond it, but there are so many more that fall short. This sits right in the middle somewhere, offering a standard, enjoyable experience for you challenge seekers out there. It has some great level design, gorgeous scenery, and... oh, for God's sake, the dogs made it into this game as well!